Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you want to see how I got this makeup look, then just keep on watching. It's super quick and easy. I do this every single day before work. So if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I always start my makeup off with some sort of primer. And the one that I've really been liking recently is the Glowy Super Gel. And I use both of the shades. So this is like the darker one. It only comes in two different shades, but I mix the dark one and just like the original together, just because the dark one is like a little bit too dark for me. It doesn't look that natural, so I like to mix it with the original too. I just like put it like a couple pumps in the back of my hand and mix them together, and it just makes like a really pretty color. So I always start off with that first, but if I want more of like a gripping primer, sometimes I'll use the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I really like this one too if I really want my makeup to stay on all day. I feel like I always have to go in with some sort of like primer or moisturizer before I do makeup because I have a pretty dry skin. So if I don't, then my makeup just never turns out that good. And then recently I haven't been using a foundation just because I really like this new product that I've been using. It's the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and this is in the shade Light Medium. And I've just been using this like just on like the outer parts of my face, like where I would normally put bronzer. I don't think this is technically like a cream bronzer, but I got like a little bit of a darker shade, so it kind of is darker than my skin tone, and I really like this. And I don't know why I haven't been using a foundation. I used to always use a foundation like every time I would do my makeup, but I've just been really liking this, and I feel like it has a good coverage. And I add like concealer and everything after, so I feel like that kind of makes up for not having a foundation. But I put this on with the Makeup by Ariel. This is the A58 brush. I really like all of his brushes. I use most of them, and I use a couple like Morphe brushes and kind of just like a mix of drugstore and higher end. But I just kind of put this on my brush, and then I just start putting it in all the places that I would like put cream bronzer. And I have the Makeup by Mario like actual cream bronzer. It's the like the stick, and I don't know, I just don't really love this one as much. Everyone says it's really easy to blend in. I feel like it's kind of hard to blend in. I just like this so much more, and I think I just really like the color of it too because it's not too dark. I feel like it's just really pretty, and it adds a little bit of coverage just like on my forehead and my cheeks, and I'll put like whatever is left over on my brush just on my nose. So then I go in with concealer, and the only concealer I ever use is the NARS, I think this is like the Radiant Creamy, yeah, the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is in the shade Light Vanilla. I love this concealer. I just like it because it's not drying at all. It's super hydrating, and like I said, I have dry skin. So I really like this one, and I just kind of put this just like in my T-zone, my chin. Oh, and then I actually used one product before this. So this is a product that I've been obsessed with recently. It's the Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick, and this is in like the lightest shade. It's Extra Light Bisque, and I love this. I love this on no makeup days. I wear this all the time. So I just like do 2 swipes under my eyes, and then I put my concealer on top of it. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to use it, but that's how I like using it. So then I'll just go straight in with concealer on top of it, but since I have that underneath, I don't have to use as much concealer, which I like. And the Bobbi Brown product is just like super brightening. And then I also just put like a little bit under my contour, so like it looks like I have a lot of concealer under my eyes, but it's just because of the corrector stick. And this, it has like a lot of coverage, but it doesn't look cakey. So that's why I like using this on no makeup days or even days when I do wear makeup. So to blend out my concealer, I used to always use a beauty blender or just some sort of like sponge, but I have been using this Merit brush. I'm not sure if Merit has like multiple brushes, but this is the one I use. It's just like kind of like a dome shape. And I love how soft it is. It just makes it really, really easy to blend out any cream products. I think this is technically like a foundation brush, but I like using it for my concealer. So I just like blend it out. I just like this brush because I feel like it still keeps the coverage. I feel like sometimes a beauty blender can take away some of the product. And then for right here, I just kind of like drag it a little bit to kind of spread the product out, and then I'll drag it down. But there's not much concealer there. You don't want to put too much because then it will get like super white and it won't look natural. So I feel like this just sharpens everything up. And then I'll just like bring it down into my chin and then do the other side. And then same thing for under my eyes. I just tap it in. It definitely is easier to use a beauty blender for under my eyes because it has like the pointed tip, so it gets in your inner corner like really easy. But this is good too, and I just like how quick it is, especially for work in the morning. I don't have to like dampen my beauty blender and do all of that, so this is just really easy. And then I always go back in with that same brush that I used for my cream bronzer, and I don't put like any extra product on it. I just take whatever is left over and I just go back over my contour just to make sure everything's like all blended out. But since there's no like extra product that I added, it just makes it look really natural. Because sometimes when I put the concealer and then I blend it out, there can be like a line from your concealer to your bronzer. So I just like to make sure there's no harsh lines. So lastly, for the cream products, I use a cream blush. I always use a cream blush. I feel like if I just use a powder, sometimes it fades. So I just still love using any cream blush, but my favorites are the Say Dew Blush in Chili. This is more of like a darker, like mauve tone. And then this is the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Happy. I feel like everyone uses this one, but it's just really, really pretty, and I love the shade of it, and I just love how pigmented it is. This one is really, really pigmented too, so I kind of just switch it back and forth depending on like what kind of look I'm feeling that day. They're pretty similar, but this one is obviously more of like a pinkier, like baby pink. So today I'll probably use the Rare Beauty just because I think this one's my favorite. So I just take one dot on each cheek and then on my nose. If I was wearing foundation underneath, I would probably do like 2 dots. But since I'm not wearing foundation, I don't want it to look too crazy because this is really pigmented and it's really easy to go overboard with it. So I just do 1 dot and then blend it out. And then this is the Sephora brush, the 99 Pro Blush brush, and I just like it because it just really keeps your blush like all in one place. And I just blend it out, and then I kind of like bring it up into my temples a little bit, but I try and keep it more on the higher parts of my cheek. And then once I have it blended out, I'll start to bring it in towards my nose a little bit, but at first I just blend it out up here. And it kind of looks crazy at first just because I don't have any powder or anything on yet, but once I do powder and everything, it kind of settles down a little bit. And then I always just add like extra on my chin. And if you feel like you added too much blush, then you can just take like whatever you use to put your concealer on with and just kind of tap over it, and then it'll make it a little bit less intense. And then before I do my powder underneath my eyes, I always make sure there's no creasing from my concealer, so I just like kind of go over my eyes a little bit. So for powder, I kind of go back and forth between 2 different powders that I really like. I am obsessed with the Ilia Fade Into You Soft Focus Finishing Powder. This is just like the best powder. It's so natural, it doesn't make you look powdery at all, and it literally just makes you look like you're airbrushed. So I really like that one. And then I also really like the Givenchy Prism Libre in the shade 3 Violet Rose. This one's definitely a little bit more like drying, not drying in a bad way, but you just have to use a little bit. But I do like this one because it's very, very brightening. The Ilia one definitely isn't brightening. It just kind of like sets everything into place. So if I feel like I want a little bit of brightness, I'll use that one, but most days I just use the Ilia. And then I always use like a little powder puff, and then I just take a little bit on the top, and just to make sure there's no like extra powder, I just like shake it off a little bit, and then I'll go right in under my eyes. And then once I have it like underneath my eyes, I'll kind of take it just in my T-zone just to make sure I don't get oily. I'm not someone who really gets oily, but I don't, since I use like so many glowy products, I don't want to look too shiny everywhere, so I'll kind of just put this in places where I don't want to be super glowy, but I make sure that I leave all of this with no powder so it stays glowy. So my face, it doesn't ever really get oily like I said, but my eyelids do, which is kind of weird. But so I always just take like a little brush and just put it over my eyelids. If I don't do this, I feel like my eyeshadow will get super weird. And since I put concealer on my eyelids, it just creases and it doesn't look good. So I just make sure I always put a powder over my eyelids, and then I'll just take the extra on my nose. Now that all my cream products are on and I set under my eyes, I start going in with just a little bit of powder bronzer and powder blush. I don't do too much just because I want to keep it looking pretty natural, but I just take like a little bit and just kind of set everything that I used for cream products. And this is the Hourglass Luminous Bronze, or that's the shade. The shade is Luminous Bronze Light, but this is the Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I really like this just because it's super pretty, and I like the shade of it too because it's not too like warm toned or cool toned, and I don't think it's glittery at all. I feel like some people say that this is glittery. I don't think it is. I think it just adds like a really pretty glow to your cheeks. And whatever bronzer I used, I always use that as just like a little eyeshadow. So I just take a little bit on an eyeshadow brush. This is Makeup by Aria 1-2. And I just kind of sweep it to like in my crease. And then on my lid, this just adds some like definition. And just because then it makes it so there's like nothing on my lid. I'm not someone who loves to wear eyeshadow, so I feel like this is a good way just to add some color. If I was like going out or like going somewhere that I wanted to be a little bit more dressed up, I would probably just take like a highlighter and put it on my lid just to add some sparkle, but I never do like any crazy eyeshadow. And I don't do this all the time, but sometimes like if I remember to do it, I'll take that same little brush that I used to set my eyelids and I'll just kind of like contour my nose a little bit. I don't do this all the time, just like if I remember to do it, but I just kind of like go over the sides of my nose. So for blushes, there's definitely a couple different blushes that I love, and I kind of just go back and forth between, and it just depends on what kind of look I'm going for, if I'm going for like more natural look or a more like glam look. But most of the time I use one of the Makeup by Mario blushes, either in Poppy Pink or in Mellow Mauve. I've really been liking this shade recently. I just got it like a couple weeks ago, and I just feel like it's really natural, especially if I'm not putting like a ton of makeup on. I really like this one. But then I also really love the Hourglass Ambient Elephant palette. This palette is so pretty. It literally has like everything you need. It has a couple of like setting powders, a highlighter, a bronzer, and then these two blush shades, which are so pretty. So I definitely use those, especially if I'm traveling, because this is just super easy to pack in your bag. And I also really love the Dior blush, like the baby pink one. I know a lot of people don't like that and say it's not pigmented. I really like it. I don't know if like there's like bad batches of it or something, but mine's really pigmented and I really like it. So the face is pretty much done besides a cream highlight, but I usually do that like more towards the end. So I'm gonna do just a little bit, I was gonna do a little bit of eyeshadow, but I don't think I'm going to. But I'm gonna take this Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Iced and just put this in my inner corner. If I wanted to do eyeshadow, I would put this one on my lid, but I don't think I want to today and just keep it more simple. But I just really like how this like brightens my inner corner. I'm not sure if the camera picks it up or not, but it looks really, really pretty. And then I'll also put it like on my brow bone, highlight my nose a little bit. Now I'm gonna set my brows with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. I can never get mine open for some reason. I think like the product dries in here, so then it like makes it really hard to open. But I love this to set my brows. It's just the best brow glue or gel that I've tried. I feel like this just keeps them in place. And then I love going in with the Makeup by Mario Master Matte's Brightening Eye Pencil. I have to like get up close in the mirror to do this, but I just like put it in my waterline, so I'm gonna get close to my mirror so I can put this on. Okay, while I was putting my eyeliner on, I just went ahead and added my mascara too, because I have to get super close to the mirror to do that too. But I'm not super like particular with the mascara that I use. The one that I use today is the Lancome, I don't know what this is called, the Lash Idol. I'm not even sure if that's how you say it, but I really like this one. I like the wand of it. It's just like thick and it's kind of shaped like where it's skinnier towards the front and then fatter on the other end. But then for like a drugstore option, I love the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This one's honestly probably my favorite. I love like the bristles and everything, and I feel like it's like better than any high-end mascara. It's really good. I just used this one today just because I haven't used this one in a while, but I really like both of these. So then for highlighter, I always use a cream highlight, and I feel like I can never not do my makeup without doing some sort of highlighter. I think it just looks so pretty. I don't like to use anything that's like too blinding. That's why I like a cream highlight, just because, or a liquid, just because I feel like it's a little bit more subtle. So this is the Merit highlighting balm in the shade Kava, and this is the prettiest highlight. It's so pretty on. It looks just so natural, especially when the light like hits your face. So I just take this little e.l.f. putty primer applicator. So this is not like a highlighter brush, but I just like the shape of it. So, and then I just like dab on top, and I just place it right on the high points of my cheeks, and it looks so pretty and natural. And I like it too because like I added all of my powder products, I set my face and everything, and it still goes on top of powders like very, very easily, and I just love it. It looks so pretty. I'm pretty sure there's a couple different shades too. This is the like more goldy one, but I'm pretty sure there's like a silver and then one for darker skin tones too. So there's a couple options, and it just looks really, really pretty and natural. And then I just like take whatever's left over and just like dab it on my nose and on my chin a little bit. I just love it. And then lastly is lips, and I never really do any lip combo or anything. I just use something random like a gloss, but the gloss that I've really been liking is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, and this is in the shade 10 Crystal. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the darkest shades that they have in like the lifter glosses, and it's just so pretty. You definitely could add like a lip liner before you put this on, and that would be really pretty too. I don't know, I just like don't like how it looks when I line my lips. This just makes your lips look super, super glossy, and it stays on all day. Okay, but this is the finished makeup look, so I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will have everything that I used linked down below in the description box in case you guys want to check any of these products out, but make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in my next video.